dodging a debate makes him look like the coward that he is. So, and she challenged him to another one immediately. He wants no part of it.
He continued. I went from very successful businessman to top TV star, ...
The voters and voter polls showed it, but the fake news media wasn't giving the credit that was due. Wow. Remember, I wasn't debating one person, I was debating three. They should fire everybody at ABC Fake News.
You know that feeling when you're on a bad date and you're desperately looking for an escape route? Well, according to Jimmy Kimmel, that's Melania's permanent mood around Trump. Ouch! We've all had bad hair days, but have you ever had your spouse compare your do to a deceased rodent? Trump has, and let me tell you, he's not taking it well. Grab your popcorn, folks, because this drama is better than any reality show. This has always blown my mind a little bit. 91% that watch this show regularly haven't subscribed. Could I ask you for a small favor before we start? If you like this show, what we do here, and want to support us, the free simple way you can do just that is by hitting the subscribe button. Well folks, it looks like we've got some juicy gossip straight from the White House hair salon. Jimmy Kimmel, that late night troublemaker, claims he's gotten his hands on some spicy texts between Melania Trump and her hairdresser. Now, I know what you're thinking. How did Kimmel get these texts? Did he bribe a Secret Service agent with a lifetime supply of hair gel? We may never know. But let's dive into this hairy situation anyway. According to Kimmel, these texts reveal what Melania really thinks about her husband's infamous golden mop. And let me tell you, it's not pretty. Apparently, our First Lady isn't exactly head over heels for the Donald's do. In fact, she reportedly compared it to a dead squirrel having a bad hair day.
According to Rolling Stone, members of Trump's inner circle think another debate would be a bad idea. They say his performance was so disappointing, he doesn't know whether to call it Eric or Don Jr. at this point.
Look, I'm a very stable genius. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's past my cheeseburger's bedtime. Let's go.
When a prize fighter loses a fight, the first words out of his mouth are, "I want a rematch." Polls clearly show.
Ouch, that's gotta hurt more than a comb over in a windstorm. But wait, there's more. Melania didn't stop at just insulting the presidential coif. She went full-on hair consultant, asking her stylist for tips on how to make Trump's hair look less Trumpy. I mean, can you imagine? The First Lady of the United States secretly plotting a follicular revolution right under the nose of the Commander-in-Chief. It's like a shampoo commercial meets House of Cards. Kimmel, being the comedian he is, couldn't resist adding his own flair to the story. He joked that Melania has been trying to give Trump's hair an impeachment makeover. I don't know about you, but I'm picturing a nice subdued gray, you know, to match the mood in the Oval Office these days. But the late night host didn't stop there. He suggested that Melania might be secretly replacing Trump's hairspray with cotton candy. Now that would explain a lot, wouldn't it? I mean, have you seen the way that hair moves or doesn't move? It's like watching a golden retriever stick its head out of a car window, except the dog is made of spun sugar and the car is the presidency. As Kimmel read more of these alleged texts, the audience was eating it up like it was the last bucket of KFC in the White House kitchen. It seems like people just can't get enough of this peek behind the gold-plated curtain of the Trump marriage. I guess when it comes to presidential hair care, we're all a bunch of nosy barbers. But the real kicker came with Melania's supposed final text. Are you ready for this? She reportedly wrote, "Maybe if his hair looks better, he'll stop tweeting so much." Oh, Melania. Sweet, naive Melania. I hate to break it to you, but I think it's gonna take more than a good hair day to stop that Twitter storm. You'd have better luck trying to comb the Atlantic Ocean. Kimmel, ever the voice of reason, pointed out the futility of Melania's alleged plan. He quipped, "Well, Melania, I think you're barking up the wrong tree there. Or should I say, you're teasing the wrong toupee." It's true though, trying to stop Trump's tweeting by fixing his hair is like trying to stop a hurricane with a hairdryer. It's just not gonna happen, folks. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why all this fuss about the president's hair? Well, let me tell you, in the world of politics, image is everything. And when your image includes a hairstyle that looks like it was styled by a tornado in a cotton candy factory, well, people are gonna talk and laugh and make late night TV jokes. Well, folks, it looks like Melania Trump has found a new hobby, and it's not what you'd expect from a first lady. Forget about tennis or gardening. Jimmy Kimmel's got the inside scoop on Melania's true passion, and it's a doozy. According to the late night funny man, our dear FLOTUS has been perfecting the art of social distancing from Donald long before it became a global global trend. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't social distancing supposed to be about keeping 6 feet apart? Well, in Melania's case, it seems she's aiming for more like 6 miles. Kimmel's been keeping a close eye on the first couple's public appearances, and boy, has he noticed something fishy. He's put together a montage that would make even the most lovey-dovey couples cringe. Picture this. Every time Trump tries to hold Melania's hand, she suddenly develops an intense fascination with her shoes. When he leans in for a kiss, she's miraculously distracted by a passing bird. It's like watching a real-life game of tag, except Melania's always it, and Trump can never catch her. But here's the kicker. Kimmel thinks Melania's been practicing this routine since way before COVID hit the scene. He joked, "Melania's been social distancing since 2016. She's not wearing a mask to protect from COVID, it's to protect from Donald's spray tan." I mean, can you blame her? That orange glow probably stains worse than red wine on a white carpet. And get this, Kimmel's got theories about how Melania's been honing her avoidance skills. He reckons she's been taking secret how to avoid your husband classes. Maybe that's what she's been doing all those times she's holed up in Trump Tower. I can just imagine the course syllabus. Lesson 1, the art of the dodge. Lesson 2, mastering the fake phone call. And Lesson 3, advanced hand-holding evasion techniques. But wait, it gets better. Kimmel's got the inside scoop on Melania's daily schedule, and let me tell you, it's a real page-turner. He quipped 9 a.m. breakfast, 10 a.m. avoid Donald, 11 a.m. still avoiding Donald. I guess when you're married to the most powerful man in the world, you've got to get creative with your daily routine. Now, I know what you're thinking. Surely this can't be true. Surely the First Lady of the United States wouldn't spend her days actively avoiding her husband. But let's be real. Have you seen the way she looks at him? It's like she's trying to will herself into another dimension. I'm surprised she hasn't mastered the art of invisibility yet. But here's the real cherry on top of this comedy sundae. Kimmel claims he's uncovered Melania's deepest, darkest secret wish. Are you ready for this? He says she wants to be trapped in the Obama portrait at the White House. Why, you ask? Well, in Kimmel's words, it's the one place she knows Donald would never go. Can you imagine? Melania frozen in time, smiling serenely from inside a golden frame, while Trump stomps around the White House, tweeting about how unfair it is that he can't find his wife. It's like a twisted version of Night at the Museum, but instead of Ben Stiller, we've got a First Lady on the run. Well, folks, it looks like we've got a new contender for the most bizarre presidential to-do list in history. Stephen Colbert claims he's gotten his hands on a leaked document that reveals Trump's daily agenda, and let me tell you, it's a doozy. First up on the list, learn to spell hamburger. Yep, you heard that right. The leader of the free world apparently needs a spelling lesson for a word most of us mastered in elementary school. But hey, maybe all those hamburger tweets weren't just typos after all. Who knew the president was secretly studying his McDonald's menu? But wait, it gets better. The next item on the list is ask Ivanka what NATO means. Because why bother with those pesky advisors when you've got family, right? I mean, who needs years of diplomatic experience when you've got a fashion designer daughter? I can just imagine the conversation now. Hey, sweetie, what's this NATO thing everyone keeps talking about? Is it like NAFTA but with more vowels? Now, you might be thinking, surely this can't get any more ridiculous. Oh, but it can, my friends. It can. The next item on Trump's presidential to-do list is find out if windmills really do cause cancer. Because apparently, the president's war on renewable energy includes accusing windmills of being secret cancer-causing agents. I guess someone forgot to tell him that Don Quixote's windmill tilting was supposed to be fiction, not a policy guideline. But the cherry on top of this presidential sundae of absurdity, the final item on Trump's to-do list, tweet something presidential. Maybe later. Well, at least he's honest about his priorities. I mean, why bother with trivial things like running the country when you can engage in a Twitter feud with a B-list celebrity, right? Now, I know what you're thinking. This can't be real. This has to be a joke. And you're right, it is a joke, courtesy of Stephen Colbert, but the fact that we can even entertain the possibility of this being real says a lot about the state of our presidency, doesn't it? Colbert's comedic take on Trump's daily agenda isn't just about getting laughs, although it certainly does that. It's a sharp critique of Trump's approach to governance. It highlights the perception that Trump's priorities often seem to lie more in social media engagement than in serious presidential duties. Think about it. We've got a president who's more concerned with his Twitter follower count than his approval ratings. A man who seems to spend more time watching cable news than reading intelligence briefings. A leader who'd rather pick fights with late-night comedians than engage in meaningful policy discussions. And let's not forget the spelling issues. Trump's Twitter typos have become so legendary that they've spawned their own category of memes. Remember Kafife? Or how about when he congratulated the Princess of Wales? I'm pretty sure that's not a real title unless we're talking about marine royalty. But jokes aside, there's a serious point here. When comedians like Colbert can create fictional to-do lists for the president that seem plausible, it says something about how the office of the presidency is being perceived. It's a reminder that in a healthy democracy, leaders should be held accountable, even if that accountability comes in the form of late-night comedy sketches. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves for the ultimate showdown. Trump versus technology. It's like watching a bull in a china shop, except the china shop has decided it's had enough and is fighting back. Stephen Colbert has given us a front row seat to this digital drama, and let me tell you, it's more entertaining than a cat video marathon. Picture this. Trump, the self-proclaimed master of social media, finds himself in a heated battle with his own phone. Colbert paints a hilarious picture of Trump's device gaining sentience and staging an intervention. It's like Siri finally snapped and said, "Enough is enough, you orange menace." But the real star of this tech comedy show, autocorrect. You know that pesky feature we all love to hate? Well, it's become Trump's arch nemesis. Colbert acts out a scene where Trump tries to tweet his favorite catchphrase, "Witch hunt." But his rebellious phone has other ideas, changing it to "Witch hunt." I mean, even Trump's phone is fact-checking him now. It's like having a tiny digital Mueller report right in his pocket. And let's not forget the infamous Kofef incident. Colbert imagines Trump's frustration as his phone keeps changing Kofef to coffee. The comedian quips, "The phone's not wrong, he probably did mean to order coffee at 3 a.m. I mean, who among us hasn't had a late night caffeine craving? Although in Trump's case, it might explain all those early morning tweet storms. But the comedy gold doesn't stop there. Colbert treats us to a visual feast, mimicking Trump's tiny fingers furiously tapping away at his phone. It's like watching a toddler play whack-a-mole with words. You can almost hear the frustrated grunts as Trump battles against the evil forces of spell check and grammar suggestions. And just when you think it can't get any funnier, Colbert delivers the pièce de résistance. He presents us with Trump's final tweet after this epic man versus machine battle. "I am the most stable genius coffee hamburger." It's like a greatest hits compilation of Trump's Twitter fails, all wrapped up in one beautiful nonsensical package. But here's the kicker. Colbert points out that this garbled mess is still more coherent than most of Trump's actual tweets. Ouch, that's gotta hurt more than a bad spray tan job. This whole scenario raises some interesting questions. Is Trump's phone trying to save us from his late-night Twitter tirades? Is autocorrect the unsung hero of American democracy? And most importantly, will Trump ever learn how to spell hamburger correctly? In all seriousness though, this comedic take on Trump's Twitter troubles highlights a larger issue. In an age where world leaders can communicate directly with millions of people at the touch of a button, should we be concerned when those messages are riddled with errors and incoherence? Or should we just sit back and enjoy the show? Well folks, it turns out that political satire isn't just for giggles. It's actually doing some heavy lifting in the world of public opinion. Who knew? Research shows that these comedy shows are like a secret weapon, making all that boring political stuff actually fun to watch. And get this, they're even beating out the stuffy news shows when it comes to getting people tuned in. But here's the real kicker. While Grumpy Trumpy is busy tweeting about Kofef and hamburgers, comedians like Kimmel and Colbert are basically giving us a crash course in Civics 101. They're taking all that complicated government gobbledygook and turning it into something we can actually understand. It's like they're the cool teachers who make learning fun, except instead of teaching algebra, they're teaching us how to spot when our leaders are full of baloney. So next time you're feeling down about the state of politics, just remember, at least it's good for a laugh. And who knows, maybe all this giggling is actually making us smarter voters. Now that's what I call the real art of the deal.